License and registration. Now.
Of course. Is there a problem?
You were doing 47 in a 35. That's reckless.
I'm heading to the hospital for an emergency shift.
Everyone's got an
step out of the
excuse.
vehicle.
Officer Daniels had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 8 minutes, he would go from writing a ticket to breaking down in tears on the side of the highway. The speeding driver he was threatening to arrest was Dr. Sarah Chen. She was chief of pediatric oncology at St. Mary's Children's Hospital. Dr. Chen had spent 11 years treating childhood leukemia. She'd personally treated over 400 young patients. Her success rate was 89%. But here's what Officer Daniels didn't know yet. 3 years ago, his 6-year-old daughter Emma was diagnosed with leukemia. She had a 30% chance of survival. Dr. Chen had been the lead doctor who saved her life. She treated Emma through 18 months of brutal chemotherapy. And the dashcam was recording everything. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. But Officer Daniels had no idea who he'd just pulled over. Dr. Sarah Chen was 42 years old. She was chief of pediatric oncology at St. Mary's Children's Hospital. She had spent the last 11 years specializing in childhood leukemia. She got her medical degree from Johns Hopkins. She did her fellowship at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. She had published 23 research articles on pediatric cancer treatment. Dr. Chen had developed something called the Chen Protocol. It was a breakthrough treatment for high-risk leukemia cases. Her patients had an 89% remission rate. The national average was only 67%. Hospitals across the country now used her method. But Officer Daniels didn't know any of this. He didn't know she served on the hospital ethics board. He didn't know she trained officers in medical emergency response. And he definitely didn't know about her connection to his daughter. Dr. Chen was known for working 80-hour weeks during patient crises. She had just finished a 14-hour surgery on a 9-year-old with a brain tumor. She was rushing to check on a post-op patient with complications. She drove a 15-year-old Honda Civic despite making 6 figures. She donated heavily to the Patient Assistance Fund. She was soft-spoken. She avoided confrontation. She put patients above everything else. On this Tuesday evening in September 2023, Dr. Chen was exhausted. She was running on 4 hours of sleep. She was just trying to get to a child who needed her. Officer Marcus Daniels, 38, had built a different kind of reputation. He was a 14-year veteran of the force. He worked traffic division for the last 6 years. Internal Affairs had received 17 complaints about him in the past 3 years. Every complaint involved excessive force during routine traffic stops. Most complaints came from women and minorities. In March 2022, he pulled over a nurse leaving her night shift. He threatened to arrest her for suspicious behavior. His reason? She looked tired. The dashcam showed he kept her on the roadside for 45 minutes. In July 2022, he stopped a teacher for a broken taillight. When she questioned his legal basis, he escalated to a weapons search. He found nothing. He never apologized. In January 2023, he stopped a delivery driver in the same area. He wrote 6 citations for minor violations. The driver filed a complaint about racial profiling. Inside the department, other officers knew him as overly aggressive. They called him, quote, a king because he wrote so many tickets. He'd been passed over for promotion twice because of his complaint history. The department made him attend de-escalation training. He completed it, but showed no change in behavior. Daniels was divorced. He was estranged from his daughter Emma, who was now 9 years old. He blamed his ex-wife for keeping them apart. He didn't know the details of his daughter's medical history. Type accountability in the comments if you think 17 complaints is way too many before action is taken. But on this night, Marcus Daniels was about to pull over someone who would change everything, someone who knew his daughter better than he did. It was Tuesday, September 12, 2023. The time was 7:43 p.m. The location was Route 9, 2 miles from St. Mary's Children's Hospital. The area was a well-lit suburban corridor. Rush hour traffic was thinning out. It was an autumn evening. The temperature was dropping. You could see the hospital in the distance. Emergency lights occasionally flashed in the night sky. Locals knew this stretch as Speed Trap Alley. Dr. Chen had left the hospital at 7:38 p.m. She'd been there for 14 hours. Her phone showed 3 missed calls from the ICU. There was a coffee cup in her holder. It was cold and untouched. She still wore surgical scrubs under her jacket. She was thinking about her 9-year-old patient's post-op complications. Officer Daniels was parked in his usual spot. It was behind a service station. He'd already written 4 tickets that evening. His quota deadline was approaching. He noticed Dr. Chen's Honda pass at what looked like 45 miles per hour or more. He pulled out IMD. Immediately, he activated his lights at 7:42 p.m. Dr. Chen pulled over within 10 seconds. Her hands were visible on the wheel. She knew the protocol from her medical training. Officer Daniels approached with his standard aggressive posture. The dashcam activated automatically. A second camera on the patrol car's rear captured the scene too. 3 cars passed during the initial exchange. 1 car slowed down. The driver would later provide a statement. As Dr. Chen stepped out of her vehicle, her hospital ID badge swung forward on her lanyard. Officer Daniels didn't even glance at it. If stories like this matter to you, hit subscribe. We expose these situations every week. That's when everything changed. Dr. Chen stood by her car. Officer Daniels examined her license. St. Mary's Hospital, you work there? His tone was dismissive. Yes, I'm a doctor. I have a patient in critical condition. I don't care if you're the hospital janitor. You were speeding. Dr. Chen tried to explain the urgency. Officer, I understand, but I just received a page about a post-op child with complications. Can I please just show you? Ma'am, do not reach for anything. Keep your hands where I can see them. Dr. Chen froze. Her hands went up. Her phone was buzzing in her pocket. I wasn't reaching for anything. My phone is ringing. It's the ICU. You'll answer it when I'm done here. Turn around, hands on the vehicle. What? I haven't done anything. I said turn around. Now I'm adding failure to comply. Dr. Chen complied. She put her hands on the car. Her voice was shaking but firm. Officer, please, a child's life could be. Save the drama. Everyone's got a sob story. This isn't a story. I'm chief of pediatric oncology. I have credentials. I don't care if you're the chief of NASA. You were breaking the law. Officer Daniels started searching her jacket pockets. Do you have anything illegal on you? Drugs? What? No, I'm a doctor. Why would? Doctors abuse drugs all the time. Stay still. Dr. Chen read his nameplate carefully. Officer Daniels, I don't understand what reasonable suspicion you have to search me. Oh, so you're a lawyer too. The suspicion is you're combative and evasive. I've answered every question. I've complied with everything. Your attitude is the problem. The officer stood extremely close. His hand moved near his weapon. Maybe a night in holding will adjust that attitude. Dr. Chen's phone rang again. The screen showed ICU Emma Daniels. Officer Daniels snatched the phone to silence it. He saw the name on the screen. He froze for 2 seconds, but he didn't process it yet. A car that had slowed earlier pulled into a nearby parking lot. The driver was Jennifer Torres, 34, a social worker. She began recording on her phone. Another passing car honked in support of Dr. Chen. A third vehicle circled back and parked. It was an off-duty nurse named Amanda Pierce. Officer Daniels demanded Dr. Chen get back in her vehicle. Actually, no, get back in the car. I'm calling for backup. Backup for a speeding ticket. For your suspicious behavior, get in the vehicle now. Dr. Chen's phone rang again. The same name flashed on the screen. This time Officer Daniels actually read it. Why does your phone say Emma Daniels? Dr. Chen was exhausted. She didn't make the connection. She's my patient. She's been my patient for 3 years. That's why I'm trying to. The officer's face changed. Emma Daniels, 9 years old. Yes, she has leukemia. She's in remission, but experiencing complications tonight. Her mother called me directly because... Officer Daniels staggered backward. That's my daughter. You're your Dr. Chen, Sarah Chen. Yes, I've been trying to tell you. The officer's voice broke. You saved Emma's life. You're the one who, oh my God, what have I done? Dr. Chen didn't act triumphant. She didn't act angry. She went straight into professional mode. Officer Daniels, I need to go. Emma's white blood cell count is dropping and she's spiking a fever. It could be sepsis. She grabbed the phone from his hand. She started dialing. The officer stood frozen. He couldn't speak. Now here's what happened next. Jennifer Torres approached. Ma'am, I recorded everything. Are you okay? Amanda Pierce, the off-duty nurse, came forward. I'm a nurse at Memorial. I saw the whole thing. This was completely wrong. A third witness approached. His name was David Kowalski. He was a truck driver. Officer, I've got dashcam footage too. You way overstepped. Dr. Chen was already on the phone with the ICU. It's Dr. Chen. Emma's status, temperature 102.8. Start broad-spectrum antibiotics immediately. Do blood cultures. Prep for possible central line placement. I'll be there in 4 minutes. She turned to Officer Daniels. Your daughter needs me. May I go? The officer had tears forming in his eyes. Yes, go please, I'm so sorry. The officer sat on the curb. He put his head in his hands. Jennifer Torres looked at him. Officer, do you understand what you just did? You delayed a doctor from reaching a critical patient. His voice was hollow. I didn't know. Amanda Pierce shook her head. You didn't ask, you didn't listen, you just assumed. Dr. Chen got in her car. Her hands were shaking. David turned to the others. Follow her, make sure she gets there safely. Already on it, David replied. Officer Daniels was alone with the witnesses now. He tried to stand, but his legs were weak. He tried to explain. She was speeding. Jennifer cut him off. She told you it was an emergency. She told you she was a doctor. She showed you every sign of cooperation, and you treated her like a criminal. His radio crackled. He realized he'd called for backup 3 minutes ago. He cancelled the backup request. His voice was breaking on the radio. The evidence was all documented. Jennifer's phone had 8 minutes of footage with full audio. David's dashcam captured 12 minutes from multiple angles. The officer's own dashcam had recorded everything from the initial stop. Amanda had made detailed notes with timestamps. Comment, respect, if you think this officer was completely out of line. By 7:54 p.m., Dr. Chen was rushing through St. Mary's emergency entrance. By 7:55 p.m., she was at Emma's bedside. She started treatment that would save the little girl's life for a second time. And by 7:56 p.m., Officer Marcus Daniels was sitting in his patrol car. He was staring at the dashcam footage. He was realizing his career was over. Captain Lisa Morrison from Internal Affairs got notified by the witnesses at 8:07 p.m. The investigation began the next morning. On September 13, 2023, at 9:00 a.m., Officer Daniels was summoned to headquarters. Captain Morrison and IA Detective James Chen conducted the interview. Officer Daniels gave his statement. He admitted to poor judgment. They requested all video evidence. That included the dashcam, witness phones, and hospital security footage showing Dr. Chen's arrival. Officer Daniels' story started falling apart immediately. He claimed Dr. Chen was combative and evasive, but the dashcam showed Dr. Chen calm with her hands visible. She answered every question directly. An audio analysis showed her voice never got raised. She used please and officer throughout the entire stop. He claimed he had reasonable suspicion to search for drugs, but there was no erratic driving. There were no visible signs of intoxication. There was no legal basis. Dr. Chen had passed every sobriety indicator. She had a steady voice. She gave coherent responses. She had a valid medical emergency explanation. He claimed she refused to comply with lawful orders, but the video showed immediate compliance with every command. The timestamps proved she complied within 2 to 3 seconds each time. He claimed he didn't know she was a legitimate doctor, but her hospital ID badge was visible in the footage at 7:43 and 18 seconds. That was in the first 18 seconds. Dr. Chen had clearly stated her profession at 7:44 and 2 seconds. Officer Daniels interrupted and dismissed her claim at 7:44 and 7 seconds. The investigation revealed more. Internal Affairs looked at past complaints. They found that 14 of his 17 previous complaints involved professional women. 11 involved women of Asian descent. Dr. Chen is Chinese American. There was a clear pattern of attitude citations when he couldn't write a legitimate violation. St. Mary's legal team contacted the police department on September 13 at 2:00 p.m. The hospital provided a timeline. It showed Dr. Chen's emergency was real and legitimate. Emma's medical chart confirmed the critical situation. Emma's mother gave consent to share the information. The medical director was Dr. Patricia Williams. She gave a statement. She said Dr. Chen's response time likely saved Emma Daniels' life that night. She explained that a 10-minute delay in sepsis treatment increases death risk by 7.5% per minute. The official decision came on September 15, 2023. Officer Daniels was suspended without pay. The case was sent to the district attorney for potential criminal charges. Those charges included unlawful detention and illegal search. The department issued a public apology to Dr. Chen. They started a policy review for traffic stop rules. Officer Daniels went through different phases. First was denial. He said he was just doing his job. Then came anger. He blamed the witnesses for misunderstanding the context. Then came desperation. He requested a meeting with Dr. Chen. The hospital legal team denied it. He tried to contact his ex-wife, but a restraining order prevented direct contact. He hired an attorney on September 16, but his attorney advised him to resign. Dr. Chen's situation was different. Emma Daniels recovered fully. She was discharged on September 18. Dr. Chen declined press interviews at first. Hospital staff rallied around her. They offered counseling. Patients, families sent over 200 thank you messages after the story came out. Dr. Chen took 3 days off. It was the first time in 2 years she'd taken time off. She needed to process the trauma. If you support Dr. Chen, make sure you're subscribed. We're covering the legal fallout next. But the consequences were just beginning. Someone had been recording, and by September 14, the video was everywhere. On September 13, at 11:47 p.m., Jennifer Torres uploaded the 8-minute video to Twitter. Her caption said, "Cop threatens to arrest pediatric cancer doctor rushing to save his own daughter. This is Marcus Daniels, badge number 4177. Share this." By 1:30 a.m., the video had 15,000 views and 2,300 retweets. By 6:00 a.m., it hit 400,000 views. It was trending number 3 nationally. Healthcare worker groups were sharing it everywhere. By 9:00 a.m., local news stations were requesting interviews. WCBS, ABC7, and NBC4 all wanted the story. By 2:00 p.m., the video had 2.3 million views. CNN covered the story. The hashtag Justice for Dr. Chen was trending. By midnight on September 14, the numbers were huge. The video had 8.7 million views across Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. International outlets covered it. BBC, CBC, and Al Jazeera all ran stories. The viral metrics kept climbing. Twitter had 8.7 million views, 450,000 retweets, and 1.2 million likes. TikTok hit 12 million views across multiple reposts with commentary. Reddit got 89,000 upvotes on one forum and 34,000 on another. Instagram reached 5.4 million views across story shares. YouTube news coverage got 3.2 million views in just 48 hours. The public response was massive. One ER nurse commented, "As a nurse, I've had cops delay me during emergencies. This attitude kills people, literally." A civil rights attorney wrote, "This is textbook unlawful detention and illegal search. Badge number alone isn't accountability. Filing charges is." A new account appeared. The username was Emma's Dad 2023. It was later verified as Officer Daniels' ex-wife. She wrote, "This doctor saved my daughter's life in 2021 and again last week. Officer Daniels hasn't seen Emma in 8 months by his choice. Dr. Chen knows her better than he does." Media coverage exploded. All 4 local major networks covered it. It was front-page news in the regional Times. CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News all ran segments. Surprisingly, they were united in their criticism. NPR did an 8-minute segment. Medical journals covered it. The American Medical Association released a statement. The Pediatric Oncology Society condemned the incident. The police department released a public statement on September 14. It said, "Under investigation, we hold officers to highest standards." The police union defended Daniels at first, but backlash forced them to reverse their position within 24 hours. St. Mary's Hospital said, "Dr. Chen represents the best of medicine. We support her fully." Officer Daniels tried damage control. On September 15, he posted an apology on Facebook. He wrote, "I made a mistake. I didn't recognize Dr. Chen. I'm sorry." The comments flooded in. People wrote things like, "You didn't recognize basic human decency either." His attorney told him to delete it, but screenshots were already everywhere. Comment below how many views you think this deserves. Should more people see this? 3 days later, on September 16, Officer Daniels submitted his resignation. But resigning wouldn't erase what happened. The legal system was just getting started. On September 20, 2023, Dr. Chen's legal team filed a lawsuit. A major civil rights firm provided their services for free. The defendants were Officer Marcus Daniels and the police department. The claims included civil rights violation, unlawful detention, illegal search, intentional infliction of emotional distress, gender discrimination, and racial profiling. They asked for $2.5 million in damages and $5 million in punitive damages. Discovery revealed Officer Daniels' pattern clearly. A subpoena produced all 17 previous internal affairs complaints. 12 of them had video evidence. The department had counseled him 8 times, but never disciplined him. Text messages between Daniels and other officers showed derogatory comments about women drivers. They used words like emotional and hysterical. Training records showed he'd skipped 3 mandatory de-escalation sessions. A psychiatric evaluation from 2021 recommended anger management. He never attended. Wait until you hear what the settlement amount was. On September 25, the district attorney announced criminal charges. The counts were official misconduct and unlawful imprisonment. Both were Class A misdemeanors. Daniels was arraigned on October 3. He pleaded not guilty. The pretrial hearing was November 15. When faced with the dashcam video, he changed his plea to guilty. The civil lawsuit settled in March 2024. Here's the breakdown. The police department paid $850,000 for institutional liability. Officer Daniels personally owed $200,000 on a payment plan over 20 years. Legal fees, W. Air $125,000. The total was $1,175,000. Dr. Chen made a statement about the money. "I'm donating every dollar to St. Mary's Patient Assistance Fund. This was never about money, it was about accountability." The settlement had other terms too. Daniels got a permanent ban from law enforcement. He's on a state registry. There's a 500-foot restraining order keeping him away from St. Mary's Hospital. He had to complete bias training as a condition of the settlement. The settlement terms are public record. Dr. Chen insisted on transparency. The criminal sentencing came in April 2024. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of official misconduct. His sentence was 1 year probation, 200 hours of community service at a homeless shelter, a $5,000 fine, and required anger management and bias training. The judge made a statement. "Mr. Daniels, you abused the power we grant to police officers. You targeted a woman, a professional, and nearly cost a child her life because of your ego and prejudice." 1 year later, in September 2024, Officer Daniels wrote an apology. "I destroyed my own life because I couldn't see past my assumptions. Dr. Chen saved my daughter twice, once from cancer, once from my own failures. I don't deserve forgiveness." He tried to visit Emma. His ex-wife and family court denied him. He currently works in warehouse distribution. He's divorced and estranged from his daughter. Dr. Chen responded in October 2023 with a hospital statement. "I became a doctor to save lives. I never imagined I'd have to fight for the right to do my job. This case isn't about one bad officer. It's about a system that allowed 17 complaints without consequences until someone recorded him." Emma's mother gave a statement with permission. "Dr. Chen saved my daughter's life in 2021 after 6 other doctors said there was no hope. She saved her again in September 2023 despite being illegally detained by my ex-husband. She's a hero, he's a disgrace." But the story didn't end with money or guilty pleas. Dr. Chen had something to say about what this really meant. On October 15, 2023, Dr. Chen held a press conference. She stood at St. Mary's Hospital. Hospital leadership and patient families stood with her. She talked about the personal impact. "I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks after that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those flashing lights. I heard his voice telling me I was combative when all I wanted was to save a child's life. I'm a physician. I've held dying children in my arms. I've told parents their baby has cancer. And still, being detained on that roadside was one of the most powerless moments of my life. I kept thinking, what if I'd been an hour later? What if Emma had died while I stood there with my hands on a car, being searched for drugs I've never touched?" She gave her professional perspective. "I had credentials, resources, institutional support, and legal representation. Most workers don't. If this can happen to a hospital chief, imagine what happens to retail workers, service staff, and delivery drivers every single day." She had a message for workers. "You do not deserve to be treated like criminals for doing your job. You have rights. You have dignity. When someone with a badge or a manager title or money or social status treats you like you're less than human, that's not authority, that's abuse." She had a message for those in power. To every police officer, every manager, every person with authority, the people you're dealing with have lives, families, and expertise you can't see. Your assumptions aren't facts. Your authority isn't wisdom. Your badge or your title doesn't make you right. Officer Daniels cost his own daughter nearly her life because he couldn't imagine a small Asian woman in an old car could be important. That's not just prejudice, it's dangerous. She explained what she wanted changed. "I want mandatory recording of all traffic stops. I want internal affairs complaints public after investigation. I want pattern of behavior to actually mean something before the 18th complaint. I want us to stop treating customer is always right and officer safety as excuses to dehumanize workers and citizens." She thanked the witnesses. To Jennifer Torres, Amanda Pierce, and David Kowalski, "Thank you. You believed me when he didn't. You documented truth when power tried to rewrite it." Her closing quote was powerful. "This case isn't about me versus one cop. It's about all of us deciding whether we want a world where authority means accountability or a world where it just means power. I know which world I'm fighting for. The question is, which one are you?" But this case exposed something bigger. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 20% of traffic stops involve searches without probable cause. Women face this 23% of the time compared to 17% for men. Black drivers face it 27% of the time compared to 12% for white drivers. The National Police Accountability Project reports that 64% of misconduct complaints get dismissed without investigation. Officers with 10 or more complaints are 4.3 times more likely to use excessive force. This case was different because Dr. Chen had resources. She had institutional backing. Multiple witnesses stopped and recorded. The officer's daughter was the patient. The dashcam captured everything. Most importantly, Dr. Chen had the platform to fight back. Most workers don't have these advantages. So let me ask you, do we really believe it should take 17 complaints and a dying child for an abusive officer to lose his job. Do we really think it's okay that Dr. Chen had to become famous to get justice, while thousands of workers face the same abuse with no cameras, no lawyers, and no recourse? Do we really want to live in a world where your rights depend on whether someone's recording? Because if we don't reform the system, if we don't make complaints public, if we don't track problem officers, then we're just waiting for the next Marcus Daniels, the next Dr. Chen, the next Emma who doesn't get saved in time. Comment below if you believe police misconduct settlements should come from department budgets, not taxpayer money. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding better. We're going to keep fighting for transparency and accountability. This isn't just about one cop or one doctor. It's about all of us. See you in the next one.